I'm a painter, largely interested in gestural abstraction through the means of realism. I translate photographs to large-scale paintings. These paintings are quite overwhelming, they're massive, and I want that to reflect the gestures from a cityscape. I come from a small mining community in Barnsley, a community that's over the years been stripped of wealth. I find that really interesting because I'm interested in the way people act in everyday life. I'm really interested in the sense of community that it still has, and I've only just found that out in moving out of the village and no longer becoming I'm no longer a participant, of an observer. So the fact that people still carry on their everyday life, I feel like a marking goes further than just a physical impression on the street. I feel like a marking can be deeply cultural, and how certain movements can affect particular areas. My work aims to reflect these certain gestural markings by translating them onto a canvas. I'm the sole thing that brings it to life. I elevate it from a lower, unappreciated status to a higher level of being, as you would say, a higher level of appreciation. When I go back home, I realise that there's a lot of inspiration straight in front of me, especially when talking to my granddad, looking at landscapes that are forever changing. Whether you look at joiners, plumbers, plasterers, when they're scribing onto walls, pipes, when they're forever changing the way that they're forever changing their surroundings. And I don't know, I've got this sensibility towards the fact that these markings possess a lot of emotion, and they hold a big sense of ambiguity to anyone that doesn't understand them. You'll tear wallpaper off and there's some plasterer's work underneath. Don't cut this, that kind of thing. When I go to my granddad's garage and he's been labouring in garden and he's got an half cut piece of wood, but on it there's all these diagrams of where he's going to put this wood, how he's going to make an A-frame, these sharpened marks. I like to translate them. They're not appreciated for what they are. Not only that, the people within the community are not appreciated for what they are, the backbone of the community, people that are getting up in the morning, going to work. It'd mean well to me if my granddad turned around and said to me, "Oh well, I understand what they're getting at now. I understand what you're trying to bring to light." Whether that day will come, I don't know, but I'd rather people of an interest to me to be able to turn around to me and say that, rather than put my work in some random gallery and then for someone to look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, that's just nice to look at." I want somebody to look at it and be like, I do that every day but don't realise. Like, my work isn't at the forefront of political issues. However, it does hold something of a social stance. But I kind of want to keep it like that. I don't want to become this political artist. So the most passionate series that I've made were titled Grimethorpe Zipline. and it consisted of 4 paintings, large scale, and again I took a lot of photos which are quite interesting to look at as themselves, but in order to further my practice I developed them into painting. And it's about understanding like your culture at large, this ever-growing, this just people constantly doing things, leaving marks. I feel like it's really accessible, but some people it's really overlooked. I feel like being an artist, you can't restrict yourself to a certain medium. I mean, I consider myself as a painter, but that just restricts your whole process. I feel like it's important as an artist to be able to document in different ways. It just becomes more ambiguous to look at these markings once they're stripped from their surroundings. They become more gestural, and because I'm replicating it, I won't have the same emotion of how it was first created, which I think is quite interesting because I'm doing it out of the sensibility towards recreating these gestures, recreating these markings. I'm the sole thing that's having an impact between myself and the canvas, but I'm not the one who's been making these marks in the first place. But I kind of take enjoyment from elevating those markings in my own way and trying to create these balletic gestures in certain ways to the canvas that does highlight these markings, whether it's love, anger, pain, which I find quite interesting because I don't hold the same emotion, but in a sense I'm the only one that's able to highlight these things. I just make art that is, I don't know, it kind of just, if no one documents these things, then no one will. And especially with my community slowly being diminished, and people of a certain background that did grow up in a socialist utopia, and for now, due to mass consumerism and things like that, I feel like if in 10 years this whole part of my inspiration will be gone. So if I don't catch it now, then I don't think I ever will.